Hi, my name is Trina Baker, and this is my video for the Tompkins Strategies mini-teach. The strategy that I chose was number 24, making words, and we were going to be making words from the phrase "Home bird," which is the bird that Mr. King has in the story Happy Birthday, Mr. King, which was the story that we used for the formal lesson plan. And today, third graders, we are going to be learning about reviewing cause and effect from our previous lesson, which is what we used with the story Happy Birthday, Mr. King. And we are also going to be making words out of the phrase "home bird." And we're going to be learning a little bit more about that bird here in a moment. We just went over our vocabulary words that have to do with the lesson. And down here in the bottom box, we have the words, and up here we have the definitions. The first one is why something happens, which is cause. What happens, effect. A songbird from China, which is the huame. A person who keeps you company is a companion. And a tall, woody grass, sometimes used for making furniture, is bamboo. And I don't know if you can see that very well, but this is one of the students' actual worksheets completed. So they both completed the vocabulary matching already. And so they were able to answer my question, can you identify the definition for these keywords in the lesson? Okay, in the story, Mr. King, if you remember correctly, he had a huame bird in a bamboo cage. And the bird was Mr. King's companion, and he liked to paint poetry and just talk to the bird because it was his friend. And in real life, I can pull up a video on YouTube on my tablet to show what these birds look like in real life. They sing quite a bit, don't they? Mm-hmm. They're quite excited about that. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there are actually two cages here, and there are two birds. They're just going at it, having a singing contest. Apparently the males, they have quite a time displaying and fighting with each other, so they like to show off for the girl birds. But they do sing quite a bit, so Mr. King had a good time with his bird. So if you had one of those in your house, you'd surely hear it sing a lot. And he liked to take it to the park and everything because it was his friend. Okay. Well, also something that we used in the formal lesson, which I'd like to review now, was cause and effect, which we looked at using a T-chart. And if you can see the blackboard here, I've drawn a T-chart with cause on one side and effect on another. And I've already put a few examples up from the story talking about Mr. King's birthday. It was his birthday, was the cause. The effect was, so they celebrated. That's because it was his birthday. Since the cage was open, Mr. King opened the bird's cage. The bird flew out. That was the effect of what happened after he opened the cage. And we talked about this a lot during the formal lesson. Now I have a question for you, since we've just reviewed. We don't have to write it on the board right now, but after you tell me, I could probably write it on the board for you. Who can think of a sentence, it doesn't have to be from the story, who can think of a sentence that illustrates cause and effect, that has why something happened and what happened? Clint?
Bobby, all the ice cream, so it was all gone.
So, the ice cream was all gone? Okay. So, we would write, We could write Bob ate all the ice cream. So that's a clue word. It was all gone. That was the effect. Jason, would you like to share a sentence?
The car stopped because it ran out of gas.
Okay, that's a good example. So we could write the car stopped because that's another clue word. We talked about that in the formal lesson. It ran out of gas. Okay, now you can see your examples on the board. Here are the examples. Okay, and so that was a lot of what we did for the cause and effect. And another thing that we talked about before was choices. Choices that we can make, like Mr. King chose to move to America from China. He chose to let his bird go. He chose to listen to his grandson. And a lot of teachers at the school, they like to encourage the students to make good choices. And can you think of any choices that you could make as a third grader? That might be good choices, I hope. Because a lot of choices have to do with cause and effect. Jason, how about you start this time? Can you think of any choices that you could make as a third grader?
Don't eat so much ice cream and get a tummy ache.
Now that would be a wise choice, because if you chose to eat too much, the effect would be the tummy ache, wouldn't it? Clint, do you have any choice ideas?
Put the dishes in the sink.
And is there any reason that might motivate you to do that?
So you don't get in trouble.
Yes, that's a good motivation. You don't want to get in trouble. You want to do the right thing. Okay. So those are some of the choices that we can make as third graders. Hopefully to make good choices. And we can make choices also to choose what words we are going to make. Because for our making words activity, I'm going to give you the choice to make whatever word you want to with the phrase Kwame bird, from the bird that Mr. King had. And I'm going to give each of you a set of these letter cards so that you can form and rearrange them on your paper to create whatever words you want to. On the sheet, I have rows and blanks for 2-letter words, 3-letter words, 4-letter words, and 5-letter words. And I will be assessing you on how many words you can create from the phrase Kwame bird. And I want to see how well you can practice some of your spelling and phonics skills from this, because this is really word building. So you have to remember some of the sight words you've come across, or some of the words that you've done in your reading that you can come up with from the words that make up the phrase. So you can spread them out if you want to, and come up with the words that could fill up your blanks. Yes, you may start.
I have 2 minutes.
Okay. And be sure to write your name at the top of your page. Oh, good job. Those are some good words. I think the cards help you to see the words better. While they're working on that, I'd also like to add that some of the adaptations that I chose to do for this lesson, if need be, for the reteach, for a small group, the Tompkins strategy open mind portraits was my idea for the reteach. For enrichment for whole group, I thought we could use the app Bookworm for practicing some spelling and vocabulary skills. And then for specialized individual adaptation, I wanted to be able to cater to maybe students that had vision problems, and so they would be able to use either an app or perhaps one of the colored bookmarks to help them be able to read better. And some of the apps were Spotlight Text and Say Text that were available from iTunes and other places that would help students to be able to have either a book read to them or have the words made a lot bigger. Get them all? Okay, Jason just needs one more. Does that have? Okay, that has 5 letters. Okay, so. The I was hiding. Okay. Now the students have completed their making word sheets. And here's the first student's sheets. And he completed all the blanks. And they are all real words. A lot of them are sight words. And the second student also completed his. And some of the words are the same and some of them are different because he got to pick his own words, and both students filled all the blanks. Good job, guys. Okay. Now for our closing, I just wanted to talk about, today we reviewed what we read in Happy Birthday, Mr. Kang. We also talked about cause and effect again. We reviewed that. We looked at the Kwame birds, and we also looked at some key vocabulary words. And then we made words from the phrase Kwame bird. And as our last activity, I'd like to ask you guys to collaborate with each other on what word would you choose if you could do this activity yourselves. What word from Happy Birthday, Mr. Kang would you choose to make your own word list from? You can discuss it if you'd like.
How about noodles?
I think I prefer birthday.
How about wishes?
Let's combine them. Let's do birthday wishes.
Ooh, I bet you could make a lot of words out of that. Well, if you want to flip over your paper to the blank side and write out birthday wishes at the top. Let's see how many words that you can make from birthday wishes. I bet you can make a lot more words than you could from Kwame bird. Ooh, this is going to be good. So they're going to go ahead and complete that activity, and then the mini teach lesson will be over, and thank you for watching.